We'll begin the morning show with very sad news. A former governor of Oyo State, Victor Olunloyo, is dead. The late Olunloyo served as the former governor from October 1st, 1983 to December 31st, 1983, when the military regime of General Muhammadu Buhari ousted the then civilian government. The non-Nigerian, who was also Balogun of Oyo, died in the early hours of Sunday. Olunloyo's death was confirmed in a statement signed by the former editor of the Nigerian Tribune, Oladapo Ogunwuyi. Olunloyo, a mathematician, engineer, and renowned technocrat, died a few days before his 90th birthday. He was the first rector of the Ibadan Polytechnic and the first rector of Kwara State Polytechnic, among other notable appointments. His long record of service to the nation and humanity was a source of pride to his family and associates, even as they come to grip with this devastating loss. Really sad news. May his soul rest in peace. We're being joined now by the ombudsman of this day and Arise Media Group, Kayode Komolafe, to discuss newspaper headlines and the tragic death of Mr. Olunloyo. Good morning, Mr. Komolafe. Thank you for joining us for the morning show.
Oji, Steve,
thank you. Unfortunately, we're starting the morning show on a very, very sad note. I know that you know the late former governor of Oyo State. I'd like for you to share your tribute, if we can start the show like that.
Indeed, Oji, it's very sad news and a huge loss. You know, not just to Oyo State or to Ibadan, his hometown, but even on the national firmament, is a great departure. As hinted, Dr. Olunloyo, you know, first of all, should be remembered as one of the most brilliant mathematicians that Nigeria ever produced. He graduated at a very early age, you know, in those days, you know, in mathematics, you know, in flying colors. But many people of my generation will remember him as that remarkable commissioner for education. You know, I think there was a lot of myth, you know, around him then. You know, we heard that, you know, teachers in secondary school, primary school, you know, if a teacher was not, or maybe a school principal or a headmaster was not doing enough supervision, that, you know, we are talking of the old Western states then, that is the present Oyo, Osun, Ogun, Ondo, and Ekiti states, you know. That was what was the old Western state then, you know, that Olunloyo could just appear in your school, you know, even in very remote areas, you know. So teachers, you know, were always, you know, on alert, you know. That is, you know, giving supervision, you know, and to ensure, you know, that quality education, you know, was provided in the old Western state, you know, in the 60s. Yeah. Then, of course, when he joined politics in the Second Republic, you know, as a member of the National Party of Nigeria, his party, I mean, he was declared the winner of the gubernatorial election, you know, in Oyo State, you know, then he became a governor. But for me, more significantly, you know, was the kind of very, you know, thoughtful, incisive, and very influential interventions, you know, that even what we call in retirement, you know, in his old age, that he often made, you know, a lot of, you know, newspaper interviews, you know, appearances on television, and also, you know, essays, you know. And he was always said that, I mean, you might not agree with Dr. Olunloyo, but you could not, you know, dismiss, you know, the profundity of his logic, you know, and perceptive, you know, approach, you know, to issues, you know. And of course, he had the courage of his conviction, you know. He held, you know, strongly to his views, and he was quite, you know, a distinguished Nigerian. And over and above all, he was a patriot.
He was a patriot. Yeah, he was a patriot.
Absolutely.
And he has his daughter, Kemi, who writes a lot in some, you know, online media platforms as well. You know, our hearts goes out to their family and everyone who's been affected by this tragic loss.
Absolutely.
Did you want to...
Indeed, it's a tragic loss, and I want to thank KK for the very apt submissions about this very great and illustrious Ibadan son. I was in Ibadan last Saturday, where one of the closest friends to him, the Baale of Ekutedo in Ibadan, Dr. Taya Yorinde, who happens to be my uncle, who celebrated his own 90th in Ibadan last Saturday. And I was slightly worried that Dr. Olunloyo was not there, because he won't, ideally, given their closeness, he would have been there. But of course, I'm aware that he's been under the weather for quite some time. So hearing the news this morning is very, it's very touching. It's thank you. It's the end of an era. He did quite well for his people. Like KK said, his contributions to Oyo State, cannot be forgotten, even though he spent a very little time as governor after he defeated the late Bola Ige to become the governor. In the last few years, he hasn't granted many interviews in the media. I believe, or I want to hazard a guess, that his last major interview was the one that he granted the renowned filmmaker Tunde Kelani in Yoruba. It was in Yoruba. He spoke very deep and culturally relevant Yoruba, and that was a brilliant interview where he dissected, what was, the problems of the country, his relationship with the late Obafemi Awolowo, why he joined NPN and not UPN, how he will go to Awolowo's house and he will say, when they tell him that Baba is, calling you, and he'll go there to have a bottle of stout, or two. And Awolowo will ask him, why are you not with me? Why are you not in my party? Yeah. And then that he will tell him that you can't win. And that the reason why you can't win is because the world abhors truthful people, forthright people like your good self. And that it's better to go to where victory was assured and then start the process of re-engineering and resetting the country from there. Maybe a lot of people might want to look deeply at what is said, given what has now happened in our polity. Yes. Good people don't always win, but then when people that are not squeaky clean get to power, maybe through them a process of reset, a process of re-engineering, can be achieved. That's one thing that many people tend to overlook when they say that, we're looking for angel, we're looking for saints. No, put people in power who can win, but then start a process that can change the country. That's part of what he stood for. Brilliant man, mathematician, first-class brain. And of course, like KK said, he did enough, not just for his state, but for the whole country, Nigeria. Wow. We'll miss him. Well, condolences.
Steve, thank you for that tribute. That was a really beautiful tribute, and shedding light on some of the personal side of the former Oyo governor that the public haven't had the opportunity to know. Thank you both for your tribute, and again, may his soul rest in peace.